What if the cancer didn't change Walter White at all? What if it just gave him permission? That's the uncomfortable truth at the center of Breaking Bad. We watched a man transform over 5 seasons. We called it a fall. We called it a tragedy. But what if it wasn't a transformation at all? What if Walter White simply stopped pretending? Because here's what the show keeps showing us, if we're willing to look. The anger was always there. The pride was always there. The need to dominate, to be recognized, to win. It was always there. Buried under a cardigan and a teacher's salary, but there. The cancer didn't create Heisenberg, it just unlocked him. Let's go back to the beginning. Walter White is a genius, and he knows it. He co-founded a company that would become worth billions. He walked away from it for reasons that were never fully his choice. He spent the next 20 years teaching teenagers the periodic table in a classroom that smelled like chalk and disappointment. That's not just a sad story. That's a man who believed he deserved more and spent 2 decades watching lesser men get it. The resentment didn't start with the diagnosis. It started the moment he cashed out of gray matter. So when the cancer comes, what does it actually do? It removes the reason to keep pretending. The mortgage doesn't matter if you're dying. The reputation doesn't matter. The carefully maintained image of the good man, the patient teacher, the loving husband, none of it matters anymore. And underneath all of that, Walter had been waiting. Psychologists call this the unlocking effect of terminal diagnosis. When people believe their time is limited, the traits they suppressed, the ones they considered too dangerous, too selfish, too much, begin to surface. For most people, this means reconnecting with family, finding peace, letting go. For Walter, it meant finally becoming who he always was. Here's where Walter's psychology gets truly disturbing and truly human. He never does this for his family. Not really. He tells himself that. He tells Skylar that. He builds an entire identity around it. I did it for us. But the show dismantles this lie slowly, carefully, until the finale, when Walter finally says the words out loud. I did it for me. I liked it. I was good at it. And I was alive. That confession is the most honest moment in 5 seasons of television, because it names exactly what Walter was chasing. Not money, not security, not legacy. Aliveness. The feeling of being fully himself, at full power, without apology. This is the narcissistic core of Walter White. Not that he's evil, but that he genuinely cannot tolerate being ordinary. Mediocrity for Walter is a kind of death worse than cancer. And the tragedy isn't that the cancer woke something dark in him. The tragedy is that the only version of himself that felt truly alive was Heisenberg. Think about what that means. A man so suppressed by circumstances, by ego, by the gap between who he believed he was and who the world let him be, that the only escape was crime. The only place he felt worthy was a drug empire. He didn't break bad, he broke free into the worst possible version of himself. And here's the mirror this holds up to us. Most of us have a Walter somewhere inside. Not the meth cook, but the version of ourselves that feels unseen, that carries quiet rage at being underestimated, that suspects, deep down, that we were meant for more than this. The difference between us and Walter isn't the cancer. It's the choice we make when that voice gets loud enough. Walter White didn't become a monster. He became honest, and that honesty destroyed everything around him. The question the show leaves us with isn't, how did this happen? It's, how much of this is already in you? See you in the next breakdown.